looking to do a fix and flip, it's very important you understand the scope and understand if you have the right people and the contractors to take on that scope. One of my favorite types of rehabs and flips is something like this, where it's mostly cosmetic, but it's more than just carpet and paint, right? It's not just lipstick. We're actually gonna transform this house, make it way better than it is now, right? But again, we're not going in and gutting it. We're not doing all new electrical. We're not doing all new plumbing. We're not doing all new HVAC, but we're just really cleaning it up, making it look nice. So like, just kind of walk you through here. Throughout this whole room, we're doing new paint, new flooring. A lot of these properties we get have the popcorn ceilings, so that's one big thing we've always got to get rid of, right? But the other big thing is on these kind of, I'll call them more of a higher cosmetic or more involved cosmetic flip is the bathrooms, right? So we're here in this is one of the bathrooms that we completely gutted, right? So it's going to be all new fixtures, new paint, new flooring, new showers. Again, all this is all doable if you have the right contractors. And with our team, we actually have a lot of these guys in-house that are able to go in and transform a house like that. And again, this might be a $150,000 job for a lot of people, but when we can do it in-house, and again, it's nothing structural, no big plumbing, no big electrical, we can actually take this on, get it done in say, I don't know, it depends. Some are like 4 weeks, some are maybe 12 weeks, but you can completely transform a house and take a house that maybe it will only sell for, in this case, I think this house is maybe selling for only 200,000, but we're gonna be able to sell it maybe 450. So there's some big margin in there and it's a great flip and it's doable. So again, it comes back to the scope. You gotta know the scope that you're getting into. Are you comfortable with just only do paint and carpet? That's one way to make a house look a lot nicer. Can you go a little bit further and do new kitchens and bathrooms? Or do you wanna take on a complete gut job where you're gonna do everything all new? Every scope is different, but you gotta really understand what you're getting into and make sure you have the resources in place prior to starting the job. There's a lot of different ways to profit in real estate. We could talk about long-term rentals. We could talk about buy and holds. We could talk about syndications. We can also talk about fixing and flipping. Fixing and flipping is a great business to make some really big profits. But the problem is the risky part is you don't always know what your house will sell for, especially right now in a market where interest rates are on the rise. Well, what we've been doing to mitigate that risk and continue to have great profits on our flips is this creative financing strategy. So let me tell you about how it actually works on this deal on the property I'm standing in today. So what we did is we negotiated with the seller who needed to sell their house. It needed a lot of work, but it's a big house. There's almost 4,400 square foot of living space between the upstairs and downstairs on this house. So this house will probably sell for $400,000 to $450,000 when it's all done. But the problem was when this lady was trying to sell it, it needed a ton of work and she didn't have $100,000 to put into it. So what we negotiated is we actually took over her loan at $200,000, right? So we took over there. We took subject to, I took over her payments. Now we're putting in $100,000 into the rehab, which was agreed upon. So now we're at $300,000. Well, we think we'll sell this house for $400,000 to $450,000. So what we actually negotiated was I take over your loan, I'll put in the $100,000 and then we'll split the profits after that 50-50 or 75-25. It really depends deal to deal. But the reason I really like this and we're mitigating a lot of risk on this deal is I'm all in even with my purchase price plus the $100K of my rehab. I'm all in at $300,000. This house is going to sell, like I said, for $400,000 to $450,000. Even if the market continues to come down with interest rates, we've got a ton of cushion to still make a profit in this deal. The cool thing is though, is what we're able to do is actually bring in a passive investor who will fund, remember I talked about that $100,000 rehab? So again, we take over the loan subject to, we actually get the deed. So I'm the owner of this house right now and I make the payments on the loan. Then what I do is I bring in a passive or a private investor to put up the $100,000 to fund the rehab. But that investor is actually very well protected because if you think about it, the current loan amount with the loan in place with, again, a big bank, maybe call it Chase has got a bank for $200,000. Plus his loan of $100,000, that's $300,000 of debt on the house. But the house is gonna be worth $400,000 to $450,000. So he's very well protected. If, again, say we had to fire sell this thing for $400,000 or $350,000, he could still sell, his investment is very well protected. Plus we're able to give him a really good, really competitive interest rate and it's backed by property. So it's really a cool win-win for the seller who's able to sell her house and not have to take a huge discount on it. It's a win for our company because we're able to come in and use our contractors and make a profit. And it's a win for this private investor who can go put his money to work, make a good return on it, and have it be backed by real estate. It doesn't get much better than that. The last part of this, which I really like, is how simple it is when we are working with that private money investor. Because I've been a part of a lot of different partnerships and structured deals a lot of different ways, but I really love the simplicity of this. All it is a simple promissory note and a mortgage which is filed at the county. That's all the paperwork looks like. and then the investor can wire his money to the title company. All the paperwork is signed, the project starts, we go, we fix and flip it, we get it all done, sell the property, investor gets his money back plus the interest rate, and we're all done. Super simple, easy paperwork, a really good way for a passive investor to get into real estate.